Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere TV 8 Veterans and Community Show. Today we have two community veterans, Jessica Simpson. Welcome to the show, Jessica. And Bobby Driscoll, welcome to the show.
Us.
We're going to start with the lady first.
Of course.
You're a communication technician, correct?
Yes,
A production technician,
Yes.
excuse me. Start off and tell us what made you get into that.
Well, I was in high school and thinking about where I was going to go to college and what I would possibly be interested in. I was always good at English and like liberal arts type things, but I wanted to do something more fun, so I thought journalism would be fun. We had a class my senior year, a journalism class, so I took that and I kind of knew exactly what I wanted to do in high school. And then I applied to schools. I toured a bunch of colleges that had a broadcast program, and I went to school for broadcast journalism.
Did you?
Yes.
And did it take you a long time? To learn all that stuff?
To learn all of it, they kind of set us up pretty well. The courses that we take when we get to college are set up pretty well, so I feel pretty prepared for what I went to school for.
And you're also a Revere High graduate, correct?
Yes, I am.
Good. And now I want to introduce you. Bobby, thank you again for coming on our
Thanks for
show.
having us.
You're also a production technician
Yes,
and a
sir.
Revere High graduate.
Yes, sir.
Tell us what college you went to.
I went to Franklin Pierce University.
Located in Pennsylvania, right?
New Hampshire.
Oh, New Hampshire. Well, I was close.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty close.
Okay, across the border.
Yeah, yeah.
And what did you major there in?
I majored in media production.
And how do you like it?
I love it.
Right.
I've always been interested in it.
Now, both of you have been with the Revere TV almost a year. Down the road will be a year.
We can round up.
Right. How do you like doing the work that you do here? Because it's you people that really make our show. I mean, we just do the talking with the people, but it's you that put it together. So we want to thank you. You do a fabulous job, both of you.
Oh, thank you very much.
So, go ahead. How do you like it?
I mean, any show where we get to, any job where we get to work on your show, Morris.
You like working on our show?
Oh, yeah.
It's not my show. It's ours. It's Revere TV 8, Veterans and Community.
And Morris, I feel awkward calling you by your last name. May I call you Morris?
You can call me by my first name. It'd be an honor,
right.
both of you, okay? So you like doing this?
Yes, sir.
And you, Jessica?
Yes, it's been pretty fun so far. We've been here, I would say, about a month, a little over a month. We kind of do a wide variety of things.
Such as?
Well, Bobby mostly does editing and like behind the scenes things. If we need anyone to do reporting or on-air things, I guess I'm the person who's been doing that so far. But yeah, we've been doing a lot behind the scenes and in front of the camera, so it's been pretty fun so far.
That's pretty good. You know, people don't realize, they see these big stars on TV like Peter Jennings or Brian or all the newscasters. It's people like you that put their show together for them. All they're doing is reading off the, what do they call that?
The teleprompter.
The teleprompter?
Yeah.
Okay, see, even I learn a few words, and
There you
I'm
go.
86.
You learn a new thing every day.
Yep. I want you to talk about your family because, you know, you're young, so you don't have much experience in life yet. So tell us something about growing up and about your family. And if you have a veteran in there, name them. If you have brothers and sisters, name them too.
Okay, I have, that I know of, 2 veterans in my family that I've known, my 2 grandfathers.
Are they alive, Jessica?
Unfortunately, they are not. But one lived and grew up, I think, most of his life in Revere. His name was Malcolm Simpson, and he was in the Navy. And my grandfather on my mom's side is from Winthrop, and he was in the Air Force, and he's Michael Chicola. And other than that, I only have friends that are veterans so far, but half of my family grew up in Revere, and the other half was in Winthrop. My mom's in Winthrop, and my dad's in Revere. I have an older brother, Michael.
How old is your older brother?
He's 25 years old, and we're very close. We're pretty good friends.
That's good.
Yep. So I've been in Revere my entire life. I went to Revere Public Schools, went to Revere High School.
And your college, like you said, you pronounce it.
I went to Quinnipiac University.
Okay.
It's in Hamden, Connecticut, right next to New Haven. That's the nearest city to us. We border that city. But yeah, it was a pretty nice school. I decided I originally wanted to go to school in the Boston area, but when I started looking at schools, I realized that Revere is so close to Boston, so why stay in Boston, even though Connecticut's not too far, but it's still far enough from home where I didn't have to come home so often, so I lived at school
I used to work down in New London, Connecticut, near Groton, Connecticut, where they had the submarine base. This was many, many, many years ago in there. And I would commute, not every day, but on weekends I would come home from New London. Now about your family.
All right. Well, let's see. To start with veterans, both my grandparents.
Let's hear their name. We want to honor them.
There was Jack Driscoll, Jr.
World War II or Korea?
World War II.
Yep.
And then he was in, I think he stormed the beaches at Normandy. He got
Right.
a Purple Heart.
He did, but before you continue, I have
Yeah.
to tell you, Bob, we had two people that came from the slaughterhouse in Revere. Bernie and Dave Rosenthal, I believe his name is. They were also on the invasion of the day at Omaha Beach. So
really?
they maybe they had a lot in common with your
Yeah,
grandparents.
maybe. And then my other grandfather, Ralph Bruno, he fought in Algeria. He was stationed.
That's not from the Bruno Funeral Home. Any relatives?
No,
Because
no
I knew a Ralph
relations.
Bruno.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Could have been him. Who knows? And then my father, Jack Driscoll the third, went to. He did Vietnam basic training.
So he must be in his late 60s now.
He's 62.
Early 60s.
Yeah.
Then. Okay. Usually the Vietnam vets are.
Yeah.
The World War II vets are there very late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah. And then I have a brother, John, who's 2 years older than me.
That's pretty good. And what's he doing?
He works for a nonprofit. He helps give SAT prep to underprivileged kids.
That's very, very good.
Yeah.
Now we'd like to talk about, I know when your future endeavors, I'm talking about, because you're not always going to be with RevereTV 8. I mean, this is where you're going to learn. But you want to go in with the big studios, like the major studios, eventually?
Yeah, I don't know. I like where I am right now.
You would like to stay in Revere?
I love Revere.
I love Revere too. But wouldn't you like to get blowing up? I mean, you know, getting out into the world and see.
I'd like to move a little bit. I've lived Revere my whole life, except at school in New Hampshire. But I've always been in the Northeast area, so.
I come from the Big Apple originally, and we were cooped up. I come from a family. I have 6 brothers. Including myself and 1 sister. By the way, no twin brothers. I want you to know that. I always tell people I have a twin brother, but that's just to keep jokes. But I did have 6 brothers and 1 sister. And I wanted to get around to see the world too, and I would always run away from home and hop a freight train, me and a friend I had of mine. And we would wound up in Rutland, Vermont, or in Ira, Vermont, or Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So to us it was good because we saw places that we would never dream. Now a lot of the people come from all over the world to see the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State. We lived right there, so to us it didn't mean much. So what would you like to, if you could travel, where would you like to go?
In the country or out of the country?
The world. In the world.
I'd be interested in going maybe the West Coast, go to California maybe, and then out of the country maybe somewhere in Europe.
See, I'd like to go to the Middle East where it's nice and quiet. I'm talking about Michigan, you know. That's what I'm talking about. Where it's peaceful there.
I thought you wanted to be our next ambassador over there.
No, you don't want to start World War III, do you? And Jessica, if you could travel, where would you like to go?
Well, I've been to California quite a few times, and that's one of my favorite places to go. But if I went to anywhere new, I always wanted to go to somewhere like Australia or Greece, the Mediterranean area.
I got to tell you, when I worked in Hawaii many, many years ago, 1980, I believe it was, we came back. We spent a couple of weeks in California, and we spent it in San Francisco. And then I went to visit the Rock, Alcatraz. Did you ever go there to visit that? And we went to visit Fisherman's Wharf. And there was a restaurant, DiMaggio's, Joe DiMaggio, that used to play for the Yankees. He came from that area over there, and they had a restaurant, DiMaggio's restaurant, so it was nice. California is a nice, nice state. It's a long state, and I think it's one of the most populous, not popular, but populous state in the Union. I think over 20 million people live there.
Yeah.
So now I got to get back to you.
Okay.
You speak any foreign languages?
I don't. The only language I speak is English. I've taken language classes in high school and college, but I'm not fluent in anything.
Yeah, I speak English in Brooklynese, like 33rd Street or First Avenue, the crowd, you know, people hear that. They say you're from out of town. I says, how did you guess? They get a kick out of it. You speak any foreign language?
No, I speak the smallest possible amount of Spanish.
That's more than I can speak. I only know one thing, C, the letter C. So we have a lot of fun with that. So go ahead.
I
Keep
mean,
going.
I speak just the smallest amount of Spanish, but I'd like to learn more of it. Better myself.
You know, it's funny, if I was younger, I mean, at my age now, you know, I'm not going to worry too much, but I mean, if I was your age or your age, they have courses there like you have things that we never even dreamt of when we were kids. For example, you could take a CD and plug it in, and they speak Spanish, Russian, German, and you follow them and you speak the same language they do. When I was a kid, they used to have a wristwatch, Dick Tracy. He would be talking to the wristwatch. We thought that was nuts, you know. Today, you can talk to the computer, to your tablet, and it prints it out for you. Ain't that nice, Jessica?
Yes. We probably should brush up on our foreign languages a little bit, Bobby.
You
should. I'll tell you, it's good to have a foreign language.
It'd be very useful.
I'll give you a good example. I was walking down the street one time on Revere, Broadway, right here. And in front of me was a nice, beautiful cat with 3 little kittens. And this big dog was coming at the cat, and the cat was worried that the dog was going to kill the kittens, you know?
Yeah.
So as soon as the dog got near the cat went like that. And I said to myself, I can't believe it. The cat barks at the dog. Then the cat turned around, and the dog ran away, by the way. The cat looked at the kids and says, see, it's good to know a second language. I thought you liked that.
That was good. That was good. You should just have a half-an-hour show where you break out all these jokes one by one.
No, that's just to keep a little laughing because we were talking about second languages. I spoke perfect German. I did. And when I was in the Army, I was an interpreter in Berlin, Germany. And as a matter of fact, when I was just a year older, like 18, I was overseas already doing that. So, you know, how you can see how times have changed now. Do you plan on going into the service at all?
I haven't thought about it.
No, that wouldn't be a bad career either, you know, to go into the
not at all.
communication out there. And about you, Jessica?
I haven't thought about that at all, actually. I never really planned to, although I think everyone that does do that.
You're going to get married someday, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Yeah.
And you're going to raise your kids. What would you, if your kids, let's say you had little kids now, what
Okay.
would you like them to be?
What would I like them to be?
If they, yeah.
Professional athletes, of course. Buy me a
I
nice
agree with
house.
him. I agree with
I go
him.
to all their games.
Not only that,
That's the life.
they make money in the millions. When I was a kid, the professional athletes had 2 jobs. One, playing professional baseball,
yeah.
like the Brooklyn Dodgers. But most of the Dodgers had a second job after the ball games to make a living. Ball players were only getting like 10, 15, 20,000. The highest paid at that time was Babe Ruth with $80,000. That was the highest paid at the time. And he was making more than the President of the United States at the time. So you can see how times have changed.
Yeah.
Now if you can swing a bat, legally I'm talking about, you know, you can make 15, 20 million a year.
Yeah.
What about you?
I guess I would let them do anything that they really wanted to do, but
I'm a pressure mind. They have to
professional
play
athlete
sports.
wouldn't be so bad.
No, you do any sports like ice skating or tennis?
In high school I did, but not in college. I didn't further it from there. I played softball at the town leagues in Revere, at St. Mary's and then Hill Park, and then I played on varsity softball while I was in high school, and I also ran cross country and indoor track in high school.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that. My granddaughter, Renee, she's on the track team. She's in college now. I think she's 18 or 19. And she's gone on a scholarship to college. I won't mention the college because of her track record. And the college is taking care of all that, so it's good because it helps pay your courses.
It's your free tuition, yeah.
Yep.
I know at my school there were kids on like our basketball team, not even starters. They were like, you know, people off the bench who their tuition was paid for. They were all taken care of.
Yep. I got to tell you, I played baseball on my high school team, Harrod High, third base. But we had kids on there, and I'm talking about 15 and 16 years old on there, that were excellent. I mean, they were 100 times better than yours truly. And, no, they were. Let's call an ace an ace, because that's what they were. And, you know, I thought they were as good as anyone playing in the big leagues. So, you know, and by the way, one of them did go to college on a scholarship.
Really?
So he went to Columbia, which is a great school in New York, Columbia University.
Smart, too. You said
Yeah.
you played third base?
I played third base for
I
Harron.
played third base.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I think I hold the record on errors.
I think I held the record for consecutive strikeouts.
Well, then we have
Like
something in
10
common. I got to tell you, one time there were 2 out. The guy bunted down to third, right?
Yeah,
A heavy bunt, and all I had to do was pick it up and step on third. That would have been the final out. I picked up the ball and I threw it to first without thinking, and it went over the first baseman's head, and we lost that game. So I never forgot that. That was one of my blunders. By the way, we have 3 minutes left. 1 minute for you, 1 minute for you, and 1 minute for you. Jessica, take a minute. Go ahead. Anything you want to say?
Anything I want to
Take
say?
it.
Yeah, anything.
I'm not sure exactly what I would want to say. I guess thank you, Morris, for having us on the show. And
Thank your mother and father for bringing you into the world to put us on the show.
Of course, they're number one. It was a pleasure talking with you. I have fun working with Bobby at RevereTV and everyone else that works here. And
That's good,
I guess
Jessica.
that's all I really have to say.
And I want to thank you for coming on. And go ahead, Bobby.
All right. Let's see. What should I say?
Any-
I should encourage people to come get involved with Revere TV.
Right?
Help out on Morris's show, maybe.
That would always help.
No, but on the Revere Veterans and Community.
Come on over to Revere Veterans and Community. Big shout out to Jack and Ann, my parents. How
Right.
are you?
And by the way, we got some new cameras that we would like to have people come along and
Yeah.
do some participating too.
Exactly. Great new cameras.
Right.
They're better than your iPhone cameras.
And before we close, I want to thank 3 people. Actually, the city of Revere, because we just got over a tornado that we just had.
Yep.
And I want to thank Mayor Dan Rizzo for the beautiful job that he did in coordinating the help. I also want to thank Chief Doherty, who came down to my Revere Senior Center to shut off the gas because we were smelling gas like crazy over there when the tornado hit. And the police that are doing a fantastic job. But best of all, I want to thank you, Jessica, for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Bobby, thank you for coming.
Thank
God
you.
bless both of you. It was an honor and a pleasure to have you. God bless our troops, the city of Revere, the people of Revere, but most of all, our great country, the United States of America. And thank you for coming again.